Hello friends, welcome. Today I want to make a video about the mental health care system. Now, I was voluntarily admitted. I decided to go in for my own needs because I was suffering terrible spiritual attack happening to me, and it literally sent me out of my mind because it was a physical and mental attack I was going through. Because they had technologies instilled in my light, which I was connected with by Father God, because I was a very advanced being and meant to go through and be awoken to my past life and come back and teach at some point. But it didn't happen because conspirators got in there and blocked me. And that was unfortunate, but they attacked me very badly. And they more or less forced me to have to go in because they threatened to keep attacking me worse and worse. And I didn't know what was happening to me at the beginning, but they threatened to keep attacking me if I didn't get myself admitted to mental health care. So I had no choice. I didn't want to be attacked any more than I already was being. So yeah, I went and, I told the psychiatrist that did the assessment that I was, getting spiritual influences that were attacking me. And they decided to recommend me to go and see the psychiatrist and have admission into the mental health care unit near here in Chichester at Graylingwell Mental Health Care Hospital. And I went in there and the psychiatrist saw me, Dr. Fidel his name was, and it was just like this cold lump of stone standing in front of me. I was telling him roughly what was happening to me. And they're not interested in spiritual things. They don't believe in them. The only thing they're interested in is listening to you to diagnose you for a mental illness. Every time without fail. So if you've got a spiritual attack happen to you, you're not going to get any help there. And most people, even with mental illnesses, are not going to get very much help there because they call it mental health care, but there is no care in it. That's the truth. Not in my experience. And I was in there 3 times in the end because I went in there another time because I didn't have anywhere to go. They threatened to harm my people I cared about, and I went and I had nowhere to go. I would have been homeless, so I just went down to the local hospital and they sent me over back into Graylingwell, the Chichester Hospital again, and I was there for 2 weeks. And then once later on, I tried to take my life. I starved myself for a whole month, didn't eat a thing other than a couple of Tic Tacs to freshen my breath and drink. And, only drank water most of the time. I wanted to die. I just wanted to fade out of this life because the attack on me was so bloody severe by then. I couldn't survive it. And I just wanted to give up and die. So 3 times I was in there. I was given the schizophrenic diagnosis to start off with. I wasn't schizophrenic, never have been, and but those that have spiritual attacks do display most of the same symptoms because their mind's breaking down under the attack, you see. So it has many of the same symptoms as a schizophrenic. And but if you go in there, and that's not what the point's about this video, because it's called mental health care and there's no care in it. The only thing they are is deciding what mental illness you've got and how to treat that mental illness with medication. And that medication in most cases, not all, but most cases, does help a few, but it suppresses a mental illness. And the 3 times I went in there, most of the same people were back in there again because they were suppressing their mental illnesses, but they were festering away deep inside their mind, and they were doing things like holding boiling pans of water to burn themselves, cutting themselves to pieces. And the only thing they wanted to do with those people was give them a electric shock treatment, and they were doing the same thing in the hospital shortly afterwards. It was not helping, and it's a barbaric thing that should not be done. Medication, that's fair enough in some degree, and many people have got a mental illness, but the thing is with medication, it mostly suppresses a mental illness. And like I say, it's still festering away inside of them. That's why they go out and it festers away until it boils over again and they hurt themselves and get readmitted time and time again. And, sometimes those people can save themselves and other times not. But the thing is diabolical. And the thing that the nurses in there, we never saw them apart from when it was time to hand out pills. They had no interest in helping anybody. I mean, there's people walking around the wards having mental breakdowns. The nurses were in their office. It was, if anybody was going to help those people, it was the other patients. So, there's no care in it at all. It's a wrong term calling it mental health care. It's mental something. Yeah, bloody mental. So what I really want to say is there's far more they should be doing for mentally ill people, that they should be giving them counselling. One-to-one counselling is what you need when you've got a problem, in finding ways to deal with it, finding solutions to helping yourself. And other therapies, half of them in there don't know why they've got a mental illness, because it's something deep down in their mind, but on the surface is maybe self-abuse of some sort, or feeling low, or not feeling great in some way about themselves, or suffering depression, which is a secondary symptom to what's festering away deep inside them maybe. Or they can display several mental illnesses on the surface, but they're not the real cause. Something deep down inside, traumatic quite often, that's happened in their past has caused it, and they don't even know what that is, and some do. But they go. So hypnotherapy to regress them back in, this way, to get them to, be able to search in their mind and find what the cause is, because you have got to treat the surface mental illnesses when you're healing yourself. You have got to deal with those, yes, but you have also got to find the cause and start dealing with that. What's traumatized you, upset you, or done whatever it's done in your life to make you feel so mentally ill. So there are many therapies and things like healing, like the Reiki healing I do, not necessarily Reiki, there's lots of different healers in there, and other therapies to help these people get better, so they don't get the support they deserve. All they get is dispensed a pill, and that's not the way to cope and help people that are mentally ill. Take this pill, and if that don't work, we'll give you some more of it. That's their only solution in there. Dose you up so much you're a walking zombie. And it still doesn't cure it, because most psychiatrists will say to you, and it's the truth, we don't envisage that we will cure most mental illness. What we will do is suppress it so it's less prevalent. So it's still there festering away, and that person's never ever going to get better on tablets, many of them. Some do, because some help themselves, but most don't get better through medication. So there is a need for intervention in other ways, isn't there? And it's about us standing up to the people and saying, this is no good, this is diabolical, the way they're living, 200 years in the past, the mental health care system, and using medication as an only tool, and that's all they do. And, that we've got to implore them to give mentally ill people counselling, because that's the greatest thing, free counselling to help them get through their mental illness, and other therapies that could help them to realise what they're mentally ill about, what's the cause of it, and how to start combating and coping that. And there needs to be support for these people when they come out of mental health care back in society, because they can go on a downward spiral again. So continued outpatient counselling, therapies, anything that will help them. And there's a whole array of different things that can help them. And other people that are inspirational to them, who have suffered a mental illness similar to theirs and overcome it, and how they went about doing that. So inspiring them and looking after them in society to help quite a few make a recovery. You can't help every single one. And I'm not saying there isn't a place for medication, but it's not the be-all and end-all, is it? When there's so many other complementary and alternative therapies and counselling that can help them so much to start navigating their way out of their problems, because they're getting somebody to talk to, and half of them are so burdened they've got nobody to talk to. Nobody wants to listen to their problems, and that's why counselling. They can offload their problems, and that's a big burden coming out of them that makes them feel better, but they need to be given advice about addressing their mental illness and how best to go about that, how best to take little steps in self-recovery. And like I say, there's room for many therapies in it, and they need to be employed by governments to help these people, because it is diabolical as it is today, and the world over it's the same. It's all about medication. The only thing they're supporting, governments with a mental health care system like it is the pharmaceutical company, and they're relishing it. Yes, let's have lots of nice mentally ill people. We don't ever want them to get better. We want to keep feeding them our tablets because we make a big profit out of this. So, and governments, you can believe they make something out of it too. So it's all wrong. It's all wrong because there's no care in it. So it needs to end. Anyway, I'm going to leave that at that, friends, because I've been there and I've seen how horrendous it is, and how, you get more depressed being in those places than what you do on the outside. So, because they're no help to you. They just want to put you on medication, keep increasing it until you doped up so much you don't know where you are. So it's not good enough. Anyway, friends, thank you for listening. Love and light to you. I'm very passionate about this. Take care. Talk to you soon. Neil.